Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance Channel. You guessed it. It's time for another shop tour. Here we are, our very last week of May 30th. So had Memorial Weekend last weekend. Hope you guys had a good time with family, friends, whatever it is you did. We did a non-racing activity, which was nice for a change. But tomorrow we load and go to the Ozarks. Not much of an entry for this weekend, unfortunately, but still there's 4 H production cars, so I'm going to get a chance to run against the VW Mafia again this weekend. I think this is kind of the way it's going to be for me, being the lone Mazda 2 in H production. So I'm looking forward to that, testing the transmission, of course. But I wanted to start the shop tour today with a bit of an apology, because I know a lot of you guys watch the channel, and some of you probably don't know, but these videos are basically unedited. So whatever it is that I say out of my dumb mouth sometimes ruffles some feathers, and the guy who really got his feathers ruffled knows who he is, and sorry for that. And we're not really going to talk about the specifics of it, but not trying to offend anybody with our shop tours. We're just trying to show what's going on in the shop, teach people things here and there. So if I do say something out of place, just forget about it. I didn't mean anything by it. I'm a nice guy, actually. So anyway, shop tour time. You can see I've got a red block sitting here all wrapped up. Some new pistons, cylinder head, crankshaft. So this is all of Eric Greisinger's bits and pieces for his engine. And so this will be the next engine to come onto the bench and start assembly after I get this Camaro finished. So we've got some big stuff coming, like a lot of things to push forward on here in the next few weeks. So Eric, there it is. We're moving forward. We're going to get things going. I did get in some uprights, and these are from a customer. So back in the earlier days when we were trying to fix the geometry on the Miatas, we were, as you can see, spacing down the ball joints a little bit, right? And these would go into the stock taper where the stock ball joint goes. Well, now, about a year or two ago, the production rules changed to where you could actually remount that taper. These tapered pins tended to be a little tricky to deal with, and sometimes they broke. Some of you that are watching this video probably had your tapered pins break at some point. So what I've come up with is we're now using 3/4 AN bolts, and my drill and reamer, and I'll actually press these in from the top side with about a 2 thou press once I get that reamed out. So I'm waiting on my new straight reamer for that, and I'll get these finished up for him. And then spacers and nuts and all of that stuff. So that's kind of what I've got going on here. I was just kind of doing a little analyzing on how I wanted to set these up. So I've got that under control, so we're looking good. Over here, you know, last week we were talking about getting Steven's transmission installed and the transmission mount and all of that. So I've got the transmission in, the header's in. You can see all the fabrication for the crossbar is completed. The transmission mount is bolted back here. I ended up slicing down that mount ever so slightly so that it would bolt directly to the transmission here. And then obviously welding in steel into the frame, which goes into this side frame and into the floor, and then a nice crossbar. It all turned out really good. So obviously I got the transmission leveled up perfect. It's going to be great. So we're looking good there. Next thing to do is to get up top and finish the shifter, and then finish the tunnel for that. In the meantime, look what we've got here. We've got what was white Camaro is now red. This is what it's going to look like for the Ozarks this weekend. John will finish the side stickers after the Ozarks. We are just getting really pressed for time, but I've almost got everything completed on the car. I've got a few more little details to finish up today before he comes to pick it up to head to the Ozarks tomorrow. So we're getting really close. A million details. It's amazing how much work it takes to work on one of these cars, but really cool car, of course. John did a great job of getting it all wrapped up, and we're looking really good on that. So over here on Eric's car, I started doing what I despise doing in my shop, and that is a little bit of fiberglass repair. So if you've been watching the shop tour, you saw that there was a bunch of duct tape all over. And so what I've done here is I've ground this down, and I've used this, I call it kitty hair. It's basically fiberglass, which is pretty easy to use, and you can spread it on here. But now I need to grind it all down, make it smooth again, and get this ready for John to wrap this car as well. But it makes a little bit of a mess. I'm really not a big fan of doing this in my shop, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? So over on Ken's car, I've gotten a couple little pieces in, but I'm still waiting on a transmission. I ended up noticing, of course, we had talked about the rubber clutch line on the Mazda 2, and there was a rubber clutch line on the Integra here too that I noticed the other day. So I ended up getting a new braided clutch line for that, and a drain for the petcock, petcock drain for the vent bottle. So I'm just kind of chipping away with little things here. I'm in a little bit of limbo waiting on transmissions, but the transmission guy has told me that I will have them in time for the June sprints and not a day before, you know, a week or two before. So we're kind of waiting here a little bit, but we're pretty much under control here. So we're looking good. So Mazda 2 update. You kind of have to watch where you're going here with all this monstrous bodywork. You can get a good look at the nose. For those of you that saw this car last year, John and Steve had come up with this really cool graphic for the hood here. It's pretty cool. I mean, this car is a pretty sexy beast. So anyway, looking good on that. But the Mazda 2 is basically done. So I've got some of my older tires on it. Kind of see how these work. The main goal for this weekend is to make sure that this transmission works. It's more of a test day for the June sprints. It's kind of how I'm going to treat this. I do have some good competition this weekend. So yes, I'm going to obviously try and win like always. But really looking forward to trying out the new transmission. But of course, I am going to take the old transmission in case somehow, some way I completely screwed this up, which could happen. So, but looking good. She's all cleaned up, ready to be loaded into the trailer this afternoon and get down the road on Friday. Not going to run the test day. I've actually been to the Ozarks a couple different times. Actually did an endurance race there once. So I'm not really worried about, you know, knowing which way the track goes. But doing something that I normally never do, which is rent a garage. Because if you haven't been to the Ozarks, they have these awesome, huge garages, concrete covered, power, all this stuff. But the rest of the paddock is kind of like this. So they've got these great pull-through spots. I can park the RV and the trailer and pull the car right into the garage. It's not expensive for the weekend. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, so basically next week, what we'll do is we'll talk about what happened at the Ozarks and things like that. Now, one last item. For those of you that didn't see it, Perry Simons actually put his F-Production Miata up for sale last week. And for those of you that have watched this channel over the last few years, you know that that is a car that we built from scratch, brand new, about 3 years ago. You know, seam welded, powder coated chassis, custom cage. The car has it all. It's got an MCO transmission in it, super trick, everything. If you haven't seen that, get on Facebook, look up Perry Simons, or just look up, you can go to the production website, you can go to the production group on Facebook, and you'll see the car for sale. You could not duplicate this car for what he's asking for it. So it's like the best F-Production Miata, one of them that I've ever built. So check that out if you're interested in an F-Production car. And also, yes, the S2000 is gone. So Todd Montgomery came down and picked it up. Most of you probably don't know who he is, but he's actually from Wisconsin. He's been a racer for a long time, ran Spitfires for a long time, and has been running a Miata, I think in spec Miata probably, but I think he's been doing some Midwestern Council stuff. Anyway, he and his very lovely wife came by a couple days ago and picked the S2000 up, and hopefully they made it home safely. I haven't heard anything, which means that they probably did. So I think we'll be seeing that car on the track, like I said, up in that area, Black Hawk and Elkhart Lake and places like that. So hopefully that all goes well for them. I think he's going to really enjoy going from a spec Miata to an STU S2000. So first time he steps on the gas, he's going to be, his eyes are going to get big, I can tell you that. So anyway, that's our shop tour for the week. Hope you guys are working on your race cars. If you are going to the Ozarks this weekend, I'll see you there. Next week, like I say, we'll do our race recap from the Ozarks, and then we are in full-blown June Sprints prep mode. So we'll see what happens. Lots to do between now and then. So have a great rest of your week. Thanks for watching as always. Take care.